Good evening, everyone. David Paulides here. And tonight we are navigating the vast, unforgiving wilderness of the Nicola Valley, British Columbia. This is a truly remote place where the rolling grasslands suddenly surrender to dense, old-growth forests. A terrifying landscape of isolation where the known world ends and something else begins. We are delving into a case that aligns perfectly with a highly disturbing cluster we track at the Can-Am Missing Project. This is the strange, almost surgical, disappearance of an experienced outdoorsman in an extremely remote area. The vanishing of Ben Tyner is a quintessential missing 411 case. In our systematic study of people who vanish mysteriously in the North American wilderness, we recognize undeniable patterns. The subjects are typically competent individuals. They are often found near specific geographical anomalies or in known cluster areas. But the most crucial signature is this: they vanish cleanly. They step out of this dimension, leaving behind a single baffling clue, or sometimes no clue at all. Ben Tyner's case carries every single one of these unsettling trademarks. Ben Tyner was 32 years old, hailing from Wyoming, and was the very picture of a capable American cowboy. He was strong, honest, and deeply passionate about the ranching life. He had recently taken on the management role at the historic Nicola Ranch, an immense property where a man can feel hauntingly small. His family painted a picture of a man with a pure soul, someone who was incapable of causing trouble. Yet, he was the kind of person who would help anyone for whatever they needed. This profile of the good, capable individual is tragically common in our missing 411 research. His last confirmed sighting was on Saturday, January 26, 2019. Ben rode out on his bay horse for a routine task, checking on the scattered cattle in the surrounding high hills. It was midwinter, the air was sharp, and the snow was already deep. As the days passed and the weekend gave way to Monday, a creeping, unbearable anxiety settled over the ranch staff. Ben Tyner had not returned. This is where the clock starts ticking, not just toward fear, but toward the inexplicable. The most chilling piece of evidence was found on the 28th. A local logger discovered Ben's horse on a remote logging road in the rugged Swacum Mountain area. This discovery immediately elevated the case beyond a simple search and rescue scenario. Here is the first great contradiction, the element that makes this case so perplexing. The horse was found fully saddled and bridled. It was reported to be in good condition, calm, and unharmed. But its rider, the experienced cowboy, was gone. Why was there no struggle? Why no dropped hat? No broken equipment? No sign of a break or a fall from the saddle? The snow would have preserved perfect evidence, but searchers found none. A massive operation was immediately launched, RCMP, search and rescue, K9 units, and local ranchers. They combed the territory, battling frigid temperatures and the sheer scale of the British Columbia interior. They searched the ravines, the thickets, and the dense forest floor. After a week of exhaustive, meticulous effort, The result was a zero find. No footprints. No discarded supplies. Not a single clue suggesting Tyner's whereabouts or direction of travel. The official search was tragically suspended, leaving behind a silence that was absolutely terrifying. The authorities, always required to seek a conventional answer, quickly shifted their focus toward a conventional crime. By March 2019, the RCMP declared Ben's disappearance was officially suspicious. This moved the conversation from a lost person to a potential crime victim. 2 years after he vanished, the police made their assertion concrete. They officially declared that major crime investigators had reason to believe Ben Tyner was a victim of a homicide. This narrative, while required by police procedure, often masks the true anomaly of the initial vanishing. In many missing 411 cases, the official label of homicide is used because the alternative, the inexplicable removal, is too unsettling for a formal investigation to handle. The real pattern here is not the motive, but the utter cleanliness of the vanishing event itself. This geographical region of British Columbia is, disturbingly, no stranger to unexplainable losses. Just 40 kilometers from the Nicola Ranch, another man vanished from a rural property. That was Dean Morrison, who disappeared from Stump Lake Ranch in October 2013. Morrison's truck was simply abandoned. Now we have two men, two experienced ranch hands, disappearing from rural ranching properties in the exact same geographical nexus within a few years. This consistency suggests a localized predatory mechanism at work that is indifferent to human motive. Let's look at the elements that truly elevate this case into the missing 411 phenomenon. The parts the official investigation ignores. First, the geography. These areas are adjacent to vast, unmapped, old-growth forests. These forests are steeped in millennia of indigenous legend. The legends of the Pacific Northwest speak of massive bipedal entities known to some as Sasquatch, or the ancient mountain-dwelling Nantinaq in local lore. These creatures, if real, possess a stealth and strength that defies conventional understanding. An entity capable of snatching a man from a moving horse without so much as upsetting the animal. The presence of the quiet horse is perhaps the most unnerving clue. Why was it standing there, fully saddled and still, rather than bolting in terror? In many rural missing 411 cases, we document bizarre and highly unnatural animal behavior during a vanishing event. Animals that should be panicked or making noise are found strangely calm, yet utterly abandoned by their owners. Was the horse paralyzed by a profound, primal fear? Did it witness something so shocking that its natural flight instinct was simply overridden? Or, and this is where we touch on the truly chilling possibilities, was the entity that took Ben Tyner something that the horse did not register as a physical threat? Something not entirely of this dimension? Something that exists just outside the parameters of our visible light spectrum? We have documented numerous cases where individuals vanish near areas suspected of housing dimensional instability, places where there are gravitational anomalies, or even reported time shift phenomena. Ben Tyner's vanishing is too clean to be accidental or even typical human foul play. Imagine Tyner riding into a sudden small pocket of reality that is abruptly different. A cold that is far deeper than the January air. A soundless, instantaneous removal from our space. He may have been pulled into one of these unseen, temporary rifts, a tear in the fabric of space-time, leaving behind only his horse, confused by the instantaneous, impossible absence of its master. That power, the power of removal, is a key thread in the missing 411 tapestry. We need to consider the possibility of a non-human, or perhaps a pre-human, intelligence operating in these remote corners. Something that sees humans not as targets for conventional crime, but as objects for collection or displacement. Something that operates with a frightening degree of precision. Ben Tyner was not just murdered, he was erased. He was plucked out of his life without leaving the forensic signature expected in a traditional homicide. The RCMP has a difficult job, but they are looking for a human answer to what appears to be a profoundly non-human event. Think about the silence of the forest after the search was suspended. The deep, cold snow concealing not just tracks, but a horrifying truth. The vast, beautiful landscape of the Nicola Valley is now the prison holding the key to this heartbreaking mystery. Ben Tyner's family, his parents, Richard and Jennifer, live with unending, agonizing grief. Their only comfort is the Ben Tyner Legacy Scholarship, a noble but insufficient tribute to a life cut tragically short. A scholarship does not provide closure. The Nicola Valley is not just holding a secret, it's holding a victim. A man who disappeared right out of his life, a victim of a crime that no human evidence can explain. This is a perfect example of a truly inexplicable missing 411 case. We must appeal to the public for unconventional information, not just details of potential human conflicts in the area. We need the details the police dismiss. Did you see something large and bipedal moving strangely through the tree line near Swackham Mountain? Did your electronic equipment fail inexplicably on that logging road in January 2019? Did you experience a terrifying, unexplained moment of absolute silence in the woods? Any anomaly, no matter how much you've convinced yourself it was just your imagination, could be the missing piece. The creature or force that took Ben Tyner is still out there, hiding in the dimensional folds of that massive forest. We often find that these clusters occur in areas that were once considered sacred, or places where ancient geological forces are still active, places where the veil between worlds is noticeably thin. The vastness of the Canadian wilderness provides the perfect cover. The disappearance of Dean Morrison just a short distance away is the chilling reinforcement that this area is a recurring hotspot for these terrifying removals. This is not random, it is patterned. It is targeted. And it is absolutely terrifying. The killer here might not be human at all. The Tyner family and the Nicola Ranch offered a substantial reward for information. But money often means little when dealing with the kind of primal terror that keeps people silent. We need courage from the community. Until that one piece of courage surfaces, the question of what happened to Ben Tyner will continue to echo. It will drift through the hills and the valleys of British Columbia. A haunting reminder of the cowboy who vanished into the cold winter air. If you have information on the disappearance of Ben Tyner, please contact the RCMP. Do not hesitate. But if you have a story of an unexplained vanishing that fits the missing 411 criteria, reach out directly to the Can-Am Missing Project. We will continue to track these invisible predators, these silent mechanisms of removal, until we can find the answers. This is David Paulides, concluding the tragic case of Ben Tyner. Until next time, when we delve into the next inexplicable vanishing, watch your back trail, and please stay safe out there. There are things in the woods that defy your understanding.